Welcome to Legacy After the Locker Room. I'm your host, Kayla Bradham, here tonight with 5-year NFL veteran Marques Ogden. Good evening, Marques.
How are you, Kayla?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to start, Marques, by asking you about sports as a little boy. Obviously, you had a long career in the NFL, but where did it start?
So, really, for me, it started as a freshman in high school. I was able to play some games, here, there, scrimmages, whatever the case may be, growing up. But I was too heavy, as my brother was, for what we call the Pop Warner, the youth football. So he started in seventh grade because his school had seventh grade football. My school, I went to seventh grade. They only had basketball, no football. So I started playing football my freshman year of high school.
So that's, a lot of guys that I talked to have been playing since they were 6 years old. To make it to the NFL in 8 years or so is just crazy. You must have been pretty good in high school.
Yeah, not bad. Honestly, I was a better D lineman in high school, and then I grew about 2.5 to 3 inches before I got to college. And I got there about being almost 6'6", and then I ended up being recruited as an O lineman for Howard. And I ended up starting for Howard as a redshirt freshman at right tackle. Then I played right tackle my first year, my second year, then went to left tackle my junior year, and then went back to right tackle, and then finished off my last 6 games of my senior year playing center because our starting center blew his knee out. As a result of that, I came in and played center for the last 6 games of my senior year.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess we really just have to talk and give some hope and inspiration to anybody who says, I haven't played enough, I'm never going to make it to the NFL. What did making it to the NFL look like for you? What did your selection look like, and how was that experience?
Well, for me, I was drafted out of Howard University to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jack Del Rio was my head coach. James Shaq Harris was my director of pro personnel, and had some really great guys, that were in our office, in front office, and then the owners were the Weaver family. Wayne and his wife, I believe her name was Shelly Weaver, were our owners. Great people, great leaders. Jacksonville was an amazing town. It's the third largest city landmass wise in the U.S. So it was nice to live there. I lived not that far from the beach, and I ended up I had some family down there as well, some cousins, and a lot of my family was from like Georgia, like the deep south of Georgia, like right near the Florida line. So I enjoyed my time in Jacksonville, and then went from Baltimore. I'm sorry, went from there to Baltimore, then went from there to Buffalo, and then I finished off my career with the Titans.
Pretty fantastic. So, got to ask, Marques, it's going to put you in a tough spot. There's probably no right answer, but who was your favorite team to play for?
Oh, it's good. I mean, it's like for me, it was the Baltimore Ravens. Kind of just to play with my brother, and it was great because the Raven fans were really supportive. A lot of great individuals, in the community. And when I retired from the National Football League, I actually moved back to Baltimore to live. So for me, I really enjoyed my time with Baltimore, and of course with my brother being their first draft pick ever in 1996. I spent a lot of time in Baltimore around the Ravens, even like high school, college, and so on.
Yeah, I got to be honest, I couldn't agree with you more. Matthew Lawrence from the Ravens has been on the show. Tavon Mason, who lives in Baltimore. The amount of fan mail that I see when the Baltimore guys are on is crazy. They have true fans, and Tavon and Matt, they're doing amazing work in Baltimore. So I can definitely see why you would say that.
Oh
So
yeah.
5 years in the NFL, 5 good years,
Hmm.
and you step away, and holy smokes, it's like you're on all of the social media platforms. And in fact, I'm going to put this up for anybody watching the live stream: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. Very consistent. Marques Ogden. Clearly you understand marketing, you put yourself out there, you give back to the community, you've written a book, you're doing public speaking, marketing, coaching, you name it. Tell us a little bit about how you exit the NFL. A lot of guys I talk to think that they're good for charity golf events and dinners, and really that's about it. And it's hard when nobody's clapping for you when you take out the trash. How did you find your career path?
So for me, I ended up getting into this career after I had a failed construction business in Baltimore City that was going for about 5 years, which was really strong. But unfortunately, the company did not sustain itself because of my lack of leadership. I then moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, where I'm at now, and I ended up working a couple of different jobs. I was at Merrill Lynch for a short time. I got fired after a couple of months, all my fault. I was at a construction company the next day after I was fired, and I got fired from that job 5 days later. So I was fired 2 times in the same week. And then I took a job coaching kids. Well, actually, I started a business of coaching kids football in the community. And then that was good, but didn't self-sustain like income coming because kids got into football, season and all that. So I took a job as a custodian, making $8.25 an hour on the graveyard shift from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. Then I had my rock bottom, I call it my moment of clarity, where somebody's trash and rotten meat and nasty, protruding, horrible smelling garbage got over my body, my skin, and my clothes. As a result of that, that was my wake-up call. That was my time to say, okay, I need to make a change today. And that's what I did. Came home and wrote down my 3 biggest strengths, which was I was a good communicator, I like to tell stories, and I wanted to help people. And I said, well, let's go ahead and try being a keynote speaker. And that's what I started in 2013, September. For 2.5 years, Kayla, not one paid job. Got my first paid job April 2016 by Miller Mock College in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I then learned the business, got coached, wrote a couple of books in that time. So now in the last 5.5 years, I've worked for 27 Fortune 500 brands as a speaker. I've worked for education, to technology, to healthcare, computers, to financial planning, to insurance. I've done consulting. I do coaching. I'm a brand ambassador. I also have a podcast that me and my co-host Leverett Ball have called The Lev and Marques Show. It is globally ranked right now in the top 2% for all podcasts. After only about 4 to 5 months of being out on all podcast platforms. And since the second time I've launched a podcast, because the first time I did it, it failed miserably in 2017. I came back in 2021 with Lev, and we've had great success. So really for me, life is very busy. It's a lot going on. I'm also a family man and things of that nature. But yeah, life is busy, but rather to be busy than not. So really to answer your question, it happened after a spoiled milk, rock bottom moment of clarity, which made me realize if I don't change where I'm going, then I'm going to be going nowhere fast, or worse yet, I'm going to be staying right where I'm at for the next, for the rest of my life. And I said, I didn't want to be like this. I have a saying, I became a statistic. I did not want to stay a statistic. And that's when I got into speaking, and here we are.
Wow. You said something at the beginning that has been just kind of spinning with me this whole time, and it was about failing as a leader, right? And I guess it just resonates with me so much because what you do now, a lot of it in transparency and humility, is really creating and molding great leaders. What was that epiphany as far as leadership goes? How did you realize you weren't a great leader, and what did you do to fix it?
So I didn't realize I wasn't a great leader until I lost everything. I have a saying, sometimes it takes you losing everything to appreciate everything. And so when I lost everything and I was at that moment, even when I was here in Raleigh in 2013, April until September, I didn't realize I was a bad leader. I always thought it was my partner's fault, or my construction employee's fault, or the contractor's fault, or the developer. It was everybody's fault but Marques. And then finally, with that rock bottom moment of clarity, I said, okay, it's not everybody around you, Marques, it's you. It's like the Michael Jackson song, The Man in the Mirror. And that's when I realized that I really wasn't a good leader with Caden. And what I vowed at that time is that if I was going to get myself out of this, it started with me. And I also vowed that if I ever got into a position where people actually wanted to hear what I had to say. Because when you're a custodian and you hit rock bottom, like nobody cares what you have to say. No one thinks anything of you. They think nothing that you say matters. And that's why I look at everybody that has something to say. It matters to me because I've been, a custodian. I've made $8 an hour. I've had, times where I couldn't pay bills. I've had times where I've had to shuffle. Am I going to pay this bill? Am I going to pay that bill? Can I, the light bills can stay on, okay, but we might have to go without gas for a month. I've gone through all the ups and downs and all the difficult times and all the times of, being in the red and just not having to go to the grocery store and hope that you can make enough money and hope that basically whenever you run your card, that doesn't get declined. Because I've ran cards in the past at grocery stores where it was declined and I had to shuffle cards and those cards were declined and I had to walk out of the grocery store with no food or, things of that nature. I mean, I've been there. I remember all those times. So to me, if anybody wants to say something to me or wants to take a few minutes of my time to say something, I'm going to listen. That's just who I am, because when your shoe's on the other foot, you're like, wow, I just want somebody to listen to me. And I remember what that was like. And today I try to be the person that's going to always be an active listener and not so much a busy talker.
Wow. And you just actually had a social media post up about that, which I love. So you're doing all these different things, and I want to start by talking about the book you wrote. Before we talk about the book, I just want to take a moment to remind our listeners this is the Legacy After the Locker Room podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Brett. I'm here with Marques Ogden, powered by the Sports Philanthropy Network. Marques, what inspired you to write the book?
So I wrote 2 books. So the first book, Sleepless Nights, was written as an autobiography to tell my story to people about who I am, who I was at the time, what I had gone through, and all those different things. Then my second book is The Success Cycle, which is in every Barnes & Noble bookstore across the country. It's in, on online, Amazon, or our website, all these different things. The Success Cycle was written to help people figure out how to take 3 main principles: ambition, drive, and hard work, and wrap those into a package to get from where they are to where they want to be. Or like I like to say even better, from the start line to the finish line and beyond. So that book, again, both books were ghostwritten by my wife, who was my ghostwriter. And, both books did well. Of course, The Success Cycle did better because it reached and it was going after a much larger demographic, a much broader audience. And we've had great success in that resolve from the book. So in reality, it's been a really good process, but the books were written, again, one was published in 2015, the other was published in 2020, and they have just been ways, one's more autobiography based, and then the other one is more kind of like educational, step-by-step process to create your own success base, and they both have done very, very well.
So one of the things that I like is it seems to me that you just take a very down-to-earth approach and you just put it out there and share from your experience. Don't get all flowery, don't get all convoluted. You just keep it real and you shoot straight. And I think we have some really big issues that need to be addressed in a very straightforward manner. For example, I lost a little bit of internet. I apologize. It's raining in Milwaukee. DEI, mental health, unemployment, COVID, access to healthcare. The list goes on and on and on. Marques, what has sort of been your framework, your approach as you're going in and you're advising people or speaking to people? What approach do you take on addressing those important issues?
So I tell everybody that in corporate America, it always starts at the top. If you want to be an organization that has a healthy, sustainable culture, the organization has to have these 3 key things. It has to have, first, it has to have strong operational excellence, which includes things like internal communication, external communication, delegation of tasks to the right people, creating a culture which everybody can speak freely and feel they're not going to be judged. So operational excellence starts at the top and comes on down the line. Number 2 is quality products that really deliver client satisfaction. I don't care what industry you're in, what product you sell. If if it's an actual service-based product or it's an actual non-service-based product. Like coaching is really not service-based, but then again, if you have like a brick and mortar store, some of my clients do, you're going to have, a service-based, product. So again, it's really important that what you have to do is you have to have a quality product that's going to really deliver excellent client satisfaction. That's huge. And number 3 is excellent customer service. If people are gracious enough to buy your products, again, even if you are a service business or you are a real product business, whatever the case is, if they're buying your products out of your store or if they're buying your services, coaching, consulting, whatever, you need to deliver and have excellent customer service. I tell people all the time, the easiest place to get new clients is service your existing clients to the best of your ability. And that's just the way it is. So everything that I talk about or do within my coaching or consulting really has those 3 principles as the foundation. And that can help with D&I, mental health awareness, access to healthcare. Because again, if you create these 3 pillars in your business, operational excellence should take care of healthcare or D&I. If you have great quality product, then you make sure that people have what they need in order to be successful. So all these moving parts, I feel, are very important in order to get from where you are to where you want to be, or they're even more important if an organization is struggling with growth or with some sort of trajectory, trying to get to a new level. If you don't have those things in the pillar foundation, it won't work.
So let's talk about that for a moment and just take the things that I hear oftentimes. We're a new company. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough staff. I'm overworked. I'm underpaid. You've branded yourself. I mean, look at your shirt. You want to pull that patch over a little bit so everyone can see that? Oh, there you go. You're a brand ambassador. You market yourself. For anybody who has all these, I can't, it's not my fault. What's your message to branding yourself even?
It all starts with you. So again, go get a shirt made of your organization. I think this costs us like $10, right? If you can't afford $10, don't start a business, okay? Number 2, if you're a solopreneur and you're struggling, you make a little money, you're staying afloat, but you're trying to figure out the next step. Figure out what is the main thing you need in order to get where you want. So for example, I have a client, we'll talk about this today. She is a speaker, great at what she does. When she gets clients and she's on stage, she hammers home a phenomenal product. What she hates is the cold calling, the reaching out. So I told her, look to find somebody that you can hire to come in and pay an hourly rate, have them pay like 5 hours a week or 20 hours a month to make some of those calls, to get out there and do the things that you don't like to do. You're looking at spending, say, $10 an hour, it's $200 a month, right? Now, again, if you can't afford that, then you need to figure out where you need to make some different tweaks and different pivots in your strategy to start making sales. But $200 a month should be very affordable to anybody, even if you're just starting out, because you need to be able to do what you do best. So like me, how we built our brand, I met my business partner first. And then we met with her. She was living in Minnesota. She moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, started working for us, built our trust. We started paying her in 2020. And then every year we up her pay. She has another job, but she keeps with us consistent. She takes care of all the social media, content strategy, newsletters, blogs, email marketing, CRM tool, all that. She brought us in our website person. So I pay him website maintenance, SEO. As a matter of fact, we're actually in the process right now designing a new website that's more focused based on speaking. Great. We found a videographer through a referral. So we pay him now, and he's on a per job basis. I don't pay him a consulting fee. He's a per job basis. Found a trademark and patent person. Same thing. Pay him on a per job basis. I have a great accountant who then brought me my bookkeeper. I pay my accountant a monthly fee. I pay my bookkeeper a monthly fee. I'm in the process right now of getting to hire a PR brand strategist and paying her for 20 hours of work on a one-time contract, see how it goes, and I can go from there. But I was the guy who was a solopreneur probably 5 years ago. It was just me. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10 people, 10 to 12 people I work with. And of that, 1, 2, 4 are on monthly retainer. The other one's on a per job basis. And I run everything through the bookkeeper. I keep everything nice and straight. And it took time to get to this point, but that's what it is. So for you listening, figure out what you need most first and then build from there. Don't try to go get everything at one time. I didn't, because it's going to be super expensive and you don't have the kind of capital for that. But take one step at a time and just build from there.
So you're giving all this advice for free and people don't even have to pay you. Usually that'd be a lot of money. One of the things that I see you do that I see a lot of value to, and I've seen maybe in the last 3 or 4 months, is you tagging multiple people in your posts. And I noticed that when you do that and you do that strategically, your views, your likes, your comments, your shares just go through the roof. Do you want to speak a little bit about SEO and tagging people and really creating that engagement, because you're great at it?
Yeah, you need to tag people that are people that you either respect in business, want to collaborate in business, work with, or you network with. And then find certain hashtag words that are going to speak not just to the post if possible, but are going to speak to the mass audiences if you can. Because doing that will attract more people to your post. And I tell everybody, I post every day. Now, I'm not saying you need to do that because it's a lot of work. But again, I have a social media content person. If I have something I want to post myself, I'll do it. If I don't have anything to post, I'll message her, hey, can you send me something? She does it right away. So I'm not saying to go out and do what I do, but you need to start building towards that. You know, if you're not posting on social media, post 2 times a week, 3 times. Just start small, right? I mean, we found an article for one of our clients. We said, post 10 times a week, right? And so 10 times a month. 10 times a month, that'll put you about 2.5 posts a week, give or take. That's a great place to start. If you're not comfortable posting every day, all day, then try 10 times a month and try 5 posts that are resharing people's content, 3 posts that are about your business that's not selling you, and then 2 posts that humanize you, that make people feel you're a real person and not someone that's always out just trying to make money off of them and money for your business.
Fabulous advice. So this is a great point, just to stop for a second and say, if Marques is speaking to your brain and to your heart right now, and you say, wow, there is value in working with him and his team, you can contact Marques on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. What do you prefer, Marques? What is the best way for people to connect and work with you if they're looking for a speaker, or they need to bring you in for their team? How does that work best for you?
They can go to our website, www.marques, MARQUES, Ogden, OGDEN.com, or shoot me an email at Marques_Ogden@yahoo.com, or Marques@MarquesOgden.com, and send us a message, connect with us, and we'd love to have a chat. Absolutely.
Fantastic. We're just about out of time. Time to start rolling it down a little bit before we ask you for your parting words of wisdom and your thoughts. Marques, I ask every guest on Legacy After the Locker Room to partner with me in my charity of choice, Special Olympics, for an autograph donation. Can we count on you for that?
Absolutely, you can.
Thank you. Any idea what you might autograph?
I'll probably go get a football of some sort and send it out to you. Yeah, absolutely. I think those are always good to send out, and I think it's just a good way to kind of bring in sports along with the business aspect and like the whole good fan appeal aspect. So I think I'll just go get a football from Target or from Walmart.
Thank you. I do want to give you a few moments to give your parting words of wisdom and thank the people that you need to thank. Before I do, I just want to go back to that leadership piece and being a family man. And just because you've been so transparent, you only played football for 8 years, played 5 years in the NFL. You've been at the bottom, you've been at the top, you've been at the bottom, you've been at the top. How has that impacted you as a man, as a leader, as a family man?
It makes me somebody that I can really relate to a lot of people, because I'm not just talking to you like I had a silver spoon. I mean, I was raised by a single parent who ended up, getting into some really hard financial times as I was growing up. So I didn't have a lot of luxuries that a lot of people I went to school with had. I didn't have all the different things and the money and things like that. I mean, I was very fortunate to get a scholarship to college, to Howard University. So I want to definitely thank Howard, because without Howard, there would be no football for me in college. There would be no NFL, because they were able to get me a lot of, opportunity when nobody else did. And really and truly, it's like, if somebody's going through a hard time or they're having a lot of success, I tell everybody, success can come and go. It really can. It can be there today, gone tomorrow. So who are you as a person is what matters most. So for me and our brand, Caleb, I think it's really important that we just connect with a lot of people, because we're just real. Like, I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not trying to throw stones through a glass house at you. Like, I've been there. I've struggled. I've made $8 an hour. I've made millions of dollars. I've kept my money. I've lost all my money. I've had my home foreclosed on. And we just closed on a new home 2 weeks ago. And in that process, right? And so I've been through it all. And I tell everybody, at the end of the day, it's really about who you are as a person, because that's what really matters most. Everything else to me is superficial. If you're not a person I can really relate to or connect with emotionally, it's not going to work. So, from that aspect, that's what I think about leadership. It's about your ability to connect with people and be authentic. I love the quote by Dwight D. Eisenhower, former President General of the U.S. military. Leadership is the art of getting people to do what you want done because they want to do it.
That is a great message. And leading within, huge. Being recognized by the USO for leading within, absolutely huge. We're just about out of time. You have a few minutes to thank the people that you need to thank, promote your books, promote your podcast, promote your brand, and we'll wrap it up.
So I want to thank, of course, my amazing team, my business partner, of course, my wife, who's been supportive and helped me throughout the process. Then my business partner, Dawn, and then my team members, George Sod, Albert Harden, Donovan Barnes, Tom Alfieri, my accountant, who's helped me really get myself straight, Jimmy Galarte, who is our bookkeeper, along with some other great players that we're really starting to build relationships with. I want to thank all of our clients. Without our clients, we have no business. And I also want to thank people that have connected with me through LinkedIn over the years. I tell everybody, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes years to build a file, years. Like, I started posting in 2014. Nobody liked anything and nobody thought anything of me. And I was posting in a way that was kind of more egocentric. And now I'm posting more from a way of this like humility and thanking people. And all those things make a huge difference. So again, learning how to really thank those and be humble. I tell people all the time, that's key and paramount. So again, for me and for everybody else, just, thank you for believing us and have worked with us. And I have a great quote by Aristotle: in times of extreme darkness, focus on the light. You're going to have dark times in your life. You're going to have difficulty, but in those times, focus on the light, because that is what's going to get you through no matter what. So again, that's where I'm at. And thank you for joining me and allow me on your show. And I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Real quick, rattle off those two books.
Sleepless Nights, the NFL, A Business and a Family, and then The Success Cycle, 3 keys to building success in your life.
And the podcast?
The Lev and Marques Show. It's on every platform: Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher. And right now we've had some amazing guests: retired athletes, current athletes, celebrities, reality stars, business leaders, business owners. It's a very, just diverse, very engaging podcast. And we've been very fortunate to have a lot of great 5-star ratings and great reviews, which have helped us grow from just starting out. So like I said, we are a globally ranked top 2% podcast at this time.
I love it. Well, folks, my name is Kayla Bradham. I'm here tonight with Marques Ogden, 5-year NFL veteran alumni, and we're here to remind you to live your legacy. Thanks, Marques.
Thank you.